Christine had been shot in the back at a close range in her own home while her two sons were nearby. Her hands were bound, and her sons said that they saw a masked figure with long reddish brown hair and was wearing a green jogging suit. From the beginning, this was painted as a cold, calculated crime. The prosecution leaned on a few critical pieces of evidence to make the case against Lori. Let's start with the key evidence. A brownish red wig was found in a drain can near Lori's house just days after the murder, which became a pivotal piece of evidence. The prosecution argued that Lori wore this wig during the murders to disguise herself. As for the off-duty gun belonging to Fred, it was back at home with Lori that night, so she could have easily accessed it. Sean and Shannon Schultz were inside the home on the night of the murder. In Christine's mouth was a blue bandana, which the prosecution alleged there were strands of blonde hair on it. This description would later play a huge role in linking Lori to the murder because, as we know, she does have blonde hair. However, Sean admitted that he only saw the back of the head of the intruder, which brought the reliability into question. But Sean was able to give a description that the assailant was huge, and his hand, when placed on Shannon, the youngest, it was far too big to be that of Lori's. Nonetheless, at the trial, the boys were terrified and there were a lot of inconsistencies, which makes sense because they experienced something very traumatic. Shannon also said that he heard his mom screaming for help, which added to the emotional weight of the testimony. Aside from Christine's sons, the prosecution relied on a series of witnesses to build their case against Lori. Judy Zess was called onto the stand, and she claimed that she heard Lori speak about wanting to get rid of Christine. She also confirmed that Lori did own a green jogging suit, but the reliability of Judy's testimony was questioned because she was a known informant who had previously provided information in exchange for leniency in her own legal troubles. But this unreliability wasn't really highlighted in the trial, and as far as the jury knew, Judy was a pretty sound witness. Another important witness was a man named Dennis Hackett, a friend of Fred Schultz. Dennis testified that he had loaned Fred a .38 caliber handgun, the same type of gun that was used in the murder. While Dennis did not directly implicate Lori, his testimony raised questions about Fred's role and access to the weapon. Hair samples that were found at the crime scene were supposedly a match to Lori, but this evidence was circumstantial and not definitive. Fibers from the wig were found near Lori's apartment, but again, fiber evidence can be difficult to rely on because of contamination concerns and the ease with such evidence can be manipulated.